Welcome back to another video. And I know what you're thinking. Sound quality sounding pretty good. I got myself a new mic. I was looking back some of the past videos, and I thought need to get a good mic because you want to hear this sexy voice sound crystal clear. It ain't great. So pretty much, I'm going to show you my first initial draft. Now, I did a podcast with FPL discussion, and in that there was a slight alteration to my keeper slots, but I'm going to talk through it anyway. And also, big shout out to FPL Tools. They have this really good thing, as you can see here, with 5 fixtures coming up for each player. So it's a nice way to be able to compare without having to constantly press on the information button. So pretty much, we're going to be talking about my team today. Going with the 4-4-2 formation. At the start of this season, the premium defenders seem to be the way to go, with a fairly strong midfield and a relatively cheap strike force compared to, say, the Agueros, the Kanes, the Bamings that we're used to, having at least one of them in our front three. So in goal, I've gone Nick Pope and Matt Ryan. Now, I've felt that if Pope can cement the starting role for Burnley, we could be looking at a good option here. I mean, let's look at the 2017-18 season, which I had him, and he was an absolute bonus points magnet, saves machine, got a good amount of clean sheets for a team outside the top 6. And I just think he could deliver 100%. And I think the fixtures, not bad, but with this, I can rotate nicely with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, again, another good cheap option. He's being quite popular at the moment. He's got some nice fixtures. Apart from that City in game week 4, for the opening first 5, it's looking pretty nice. We come to the defence. Now, I've been tinkering a lot with this defence, but I have settled on this defence for a while now. Seamus Coleman, who is absolutely brilliant. I mean, the guy, he used to be like 7 million a couple of seasons ago, but injuries have forced him out. But I think this season at 5.5 million, he's an absolute gem. I think everyone's going to jump on Luca Dean. And I think Coleman's only got 3.2% ownership. I mean, it's low for a good player. A player who actually, despite playing less games than Dino, was getting close to his points tally. So I have a feeling that he'll get very forward this season, particularly alongside Richarlison on the right flank, and can definitely cause some damage. Van Dijk, I think an essential player for every team. You need a Liverpool defender. I couldn't quite stretch to get Robertson or Trent. I don't feel the double up is the safest option, because I did it last season, and a lot of times Liverpool wouldn't keep a clean sheet when I wanted them to. Kyle Walker, again, couldn't afford Laporte, and I just think that he might be an always there kind of player. I feel like he won't get dropped. Won't expect many attacking returns, but it's all about the clean sheet points with him. Danny Rose, the one risk for me, he, very in and out. Ben Davies is also there contending for him, but I just think he could be quite a nice option just to have to get forward down the left hand side, especially if Spurs play with 3 at the back. Now we come to midfield. I'm very happy with this midfield. I think Mo Salah and Raheem Sterling are essentials. I think if you have Mane instead of Salah, I think that's absolutely fine. But I think Salah's penalties and assists that he contributes, because Mane doesn't contribute as many assists, that could be a big factor for this season. And Raheem Sterling, I think it's either between Aguero or Sterling. For me, because Sterling, he's a midfielder, I think he's a more explosive asset. He was getting more double figures than, say, Aguero was. But Aguero always starts very well. So that is the one thing I am concerned about with not owning Aguero. Gylfi Sigurdsson, he looks very interesting for the season. I think last season he managed to catch fire towards the end of it. And I think Everton have probably the best fixture openers. I mean, look, from game week 1 till 14, there's only 2 red there. And I mean, you have to take the fixtures 100%. I think 8 million, great price for him. Set pieces, penalties, if he can start converting them. He wasn't as brilliant as he usually is in penalties last season, but he could be a good asset. And David Brooks, he's a bit of my punt in midfield. I feel Fraser is the one to go to if you have the extra 1 million. But for me, I thought Brooks, he showed good promise last season. And I could see him certainly scoring well. 6.8% ownership at the moment, so fairly low. 6.5 million, I think, is a good price for him. So he's one to look out for. And I think out of the midfield, he's probably the one player that could change if I have changes in other positions. Up front, so I've seen lots of sides that have gone with one striker, and I just feel that's a bit risky if, say, your striker doesn't play for a certain reason. So I've gone with two. Josh King, really, only reason he's in there, penalties. We saw last season, in the pre-season, he was on fire, and everyone jumped on Josh King, and it turned out Callum Wilson was the better player. Now I'm worried about that. I don't want to make the same mistake, but I think Wilson's price rise to 8 million is frustrating. Obviously, we want to have him as cheap as possible, but he had a good season. Whereas Josh King, he was very off and on, and Wilson took the limelight. So I'm not sure at the moment where I'm going to go with it. I think King, he's going to stay in there for the saving the money, and I think Bournemouth's starting fixtures are, again, like Everton's, fairly nice, bar City in game week 3. But I think the penalties and VAR could make a difference for him. If he can convert their penalty every other 2 game weeks, then I'll be very happy with that. And Jamie Vardy, this man, he lives in my heart. He is just a gem for me. When Brendan Rodgers came in, I got him in straight away, no hesitation. Knew he would start scoring goals under an attacking manager. And oh my God, he is brilliant. I think I've got to back him for this season. I mean, lots of people have been saying that the Leicester fixtures aren't the best, but I'm actually not that worried. I think Wolves, probably the trickiest out of all of their opening first 5, but Chelsea, Frank Lampard, I don't think is that great defensively, so could get goals there, and he likes to score against the big teams. And also United, again, not defensively sound, so I'm not worried at all with Jamie Vardy. I think he will deliver. And then the bench, so Matt Ryan said before, Dendoncker, looking at the 4.5, so who would be the best bench player? He looks like the one that will get the most points, because often we saw João Moutinho come out of the team and Dendoncker will come in. I think definitely Europa League as well. Nuno Espirito Santo will be looking at including Dendoncker. Obviously has to maximise the squad depth. So he's one at the moment I'm going to stick with. Martin Kelly, I discussed in the podcast with FPL Discussion about the 4 millions this year. Last year we saw an array of 4 millions, the likes of Ryan Bennett at Wolves, who's now 5 million, which I think is a very steep price rise. Wan-Bissaka, who was 4 million last season, now is 5.5. Martin Kelly, Wan-Bissaka going could leave the door open to the right back slot. I think Crystal Palace with Sakho and Tompkins are both injured at the moment. There's a vacant centre back spot, so I could definitely see Kelly going to centre back or to right back. It will be between him and Ward. So he could be the only 4 million playing defender. The other one is Stearman of Sheffield United. Sheffield United got 21 clean sheets in the Championship last year. And Stearman played, I think, like 12 games in the Championship. So he's a bit of an in and out one. So he could be worth looking at as well. If, say, you're playing 3 at the back and you want to have 2 4 millions, because he could play. So yeah, he's one definitely to look at. And then Xander Silva, he's just a cheap 4.5. I had no idea who to put in. So going into game week 1 at the moment, captain is Salah. I think him and Sterling have a great rotation in the opening 5. I mean, look, we've got Salah for Norwich, Southampton, Sterling for Bournemouth, and then for Brighton, and then Salah for Newcastle. I mean, it's a very good rotation. Obviously, this team is not going to be set in stone. Pre-season will tell us a lot. I'd say I'm pretty happy with my defence at the moment, but the attack is the main area that's going to be changing positions. So yeah, Super Yan FC, that is the squad at the moment. Let me know what you think in the comments, and give me any advice. I mean, I'm going into my 8th season now, so I have been playing FPL for a long time, but had a shocker last year, so I want to get better. So yeah, let me know what you think, and please subscribe to the channel. You know, we're trying to grow as quickly as possible, and the podcast received a lot of good stuff from the podcasts, especially from Ollie's followers on Instagram. So stay tuned for them. We're going to try and do one every week, just talking everything FPL because we just love it. And yeah, follow me on Twitter, Captain FPL1. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video.